Welcome to the Real Zagami Show. Today, guys, this really special, let's say a special show we have put together for you, and an unexpected one, because yesterday we went through a really incredible experience. We were, as some of you already know, amongst the privileged media. And this is important for the story that brings us to the third assassination of Donald J. Trump that happened while we were there at 5 p.m. when Trump actually delayed his arrival. We will tell you all about it. We will actually be the first media to show you where it all happened, where it all went down. So this is actually
I guess it's good we went.
It's a good piece of journalism. I hope that with our prayers, we manage also to, in some way, protect Donald J. Trump from this insane right-wing guy who apparently used a fake pass to try to get in. But today we will explain you what went on with all this new surveillance drones by the Secret Service. We have filmed them. There was, of course, counter snipers. There was at one point an internet blackout, so we couldn't really broadcast because right when we went on the air at 5 o'clock,
you guys were watching. There was somebody that was sitting there for hours. I'm really sorry, Colleen, but it wasn't our fault. We even bought a hotspot, and it cost $180. And, we're not getting donations. So, I mean, that came out of our pocket. I mean, we're really trying really hard to bring you guys a good show, and we couldn't even do it. So that's why we're here today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But let's start this great show thanking our sponsors who made it possible. Today, we want to thank once again Bruce Kodesh, but also
Daniel Estes, thank you so much.
Yes, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. And also Malgarizada Minta and David R. Kammer. I want to thank the both of you for always coming through every week. Usually I don't get to see any donations on a Saturday, and you always come through and you raise me up and you make me feel better. And I know, people say, well, it's just money. But when you don't have it and you want to bring the truth out, you gotta,
guys,
do what you can, to support us.
Today, we will really bring you, on the contrary, yesterday, where we had these technical problems, I also filmed everything so we could today insert the best clips of yesterday's event. Not knowing, though, what will happen, because in the end, we were about to give this book to Donald J. Trump, Volume 11, which, as you know, has Thomas Crooks on the cover as well as Lee Harvey Oswald. And while we were supposed to give him this book, the whole, the whole security apparatus, I noticed that something was wrong.
We didn't know, though. There was no heads up when we were there. We did not know. So I was so depressed. I'm like, oh my God, Donald just totally stood us up, because I really was looking forward to giving him the book and letting him read the book, because I feel like he really needs this info. I was so upset.
But there was a reason. I mean, it's fully justified, because he did a little bit of YMCA dancing. And at that point, the security just brought him out of the picture very fast, so to not risk any further events. I mean, this was a rally planned for between 20 to 30,000 people. That's the numbers they gave me initially. But then it became something much bigger, guys. And we were there from the early hours in the morning, going through all the security checks. I had to leave my computers with the Secret Service. Every single car was swept.
They make you take everything off when you're going through the security, too. And the press has its own security. Yeah. And then we were in the part where it was just the volunteers that were there volunteering for the rally. And then the press were there, and that was it. And we had our own entrance.
But the entrance was the entrance where they stopped this guy who was pretending to be the press. And so now we will bring you in the whole press operation to make you understand what went on and what happened with this guy who allegedly attempted to kill Donald J. Trump. This is at least the idea of the local sheriff, who is also very close to Donald J. Trump. But guys, we have a really incredible show today, and so get ready, because there is no other media outlet that can bring you what we have for you today and give you an exclusive close look to Trump's third assassination attempt, but also all the security apparatus that went on at that moment.
I needed to say one thing, and that was that there was no other, I know you said it already, but I want to reiterate, there was no other news there that was alternative. We were the only ones. There was only the fake news there. And we actually got booed at one point because everybody thought, Trump pointed to the fake news and everybody booed us. And I was like, we're not fake news. And I was wearing my MAGA cap and I was like, we are not fake news. I was jumping around trying to get all the MAGA to understand that we are not fake news. So what I want to say is that this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay, guys. So we arrived very early in the morning. They asked the press to be there before 9 o'clock. So we could park our car in this place, which we will show you now is the place where they will eventually arrest this guy. Now, who is this guy? It's very important for me to explain you who is this guy and maybe even why he did it. He's called Ben Miller. Now, Ben Miller is from Las Vegas, from Nevada, and he arrived armed, but he is no new face to these events. He apparently had managed to forge in the past these press passes. However, this time, his press pass wasn't forged well. And so that led to the actual sheriff's department, because there was finally, this time, there was a complete coordination between the local sheriff from Riverside, the one from San Bernardino, who also sent some men, and on top of that, of course, the Secret Service. There was no more of the same problems we saw on the 13th of July, because they also had a drone, a special drone that was lifted in the air with a cord attached that we have filmed and that we will show you. But let's go back to the early hours of the morning when the security apparatus started, especially because, like we said, this guy who attempted to kill President Donald J. Trump outside of Trump's Coachella rally, very close, you will see, is very close. He could have really killed Trump, and this is a very bad thing, because, I mean, we are at the third assassination attempt here. But fortunately, guys, how many men did the Riverside sheriff locate for this event? I mean,
there was so many sheriffs, so many of them. There was just men with guns, and they were just there walking everywhere, and they were everywhere, especially in the outhouses. So
here we are, running early in the morning. Getting at the Trump rally early in the morning with the press. Christy is already doing
I'm just
some
taking
pics.
a picture of stuff because I've never been around Patriots this much before in my life. I've been in Italy and then in California.
Okay. So she said this way. Okay.
Where was the press?
See you in a second, guys. Okay, so we had this. This was sent to us, and it's the Trump press parking. Now, there is a possibility that this guy somehow managed to get hold of this. We don't know the details yet, though, because he actually managed to get in the parking, and I have a detailed map of the parking lot and the entrance for the press where they arrested the guy. The guy basically came in from Jackson Street here on top. You saw us, we were actually coming in from there. Then you had, of course, this entrance to the event. which is the gate entrance. See, he was basically stopped at the gate entrance that led to the event. The parking, he went into the parking lot, because that's apparently where there was a check-in tent, which was here, if you remember. And then there was, after the check-in, but we have actually some images, so we can show our viewers a little bit.
So he parked in the parking lot with his car?
Apparently parked
with... There wasn't that many cars there.
I know, but he parked with a black SUV. And so let me tell you a few details about this guy, who is Ben Miller. But first of all, let's show a little bit where this whole thing happened, because like I said, it happened fortunately still outside, let's say, the rally, because I mean, you had to go through a very, let's say, a very thorough inspection before actually getting there. This is me and Christy walking towards the press. There is actually a problem here in showing you this video because it says it's too short, but I think I have another video. Of course, we will show you everything we have here so you can have a more clear idea of what we've done. This was me and Christy going towards morning with the press. Here.
I already have to keep that.
Oh God, well the bathroom is over there. Here we are. Of course, security is a priority here. Coachella, incredible day, 12th of October of the year of the Lord 2024. Okay, so you see there was also all these buses from the Riverside Police, the Riverside Sheriff, even the San Bernardino. We are broadcasting live from Palm Springs, California. Today is Sunday, October 13th of the year of the Lord 2024. Yesterday, we were lucky enough to be invited to preside as members of the media this historic event that initially was supposed to be for 30,000 people, ended up being for 100,000 people. And in this situation, of course, dangers can occur. And in this case, this guy was arrested at the entrance where we did a security check, which everybody had to do. I mean, we had to, first of all, as members of the media, leave everything there for a few hours. The dogs and the Secret Service came to each car.
From 9 until 11:30, we had to leave the area. Yes. We checked in at 7 o'clock in the morning. You had to be there checking in between 7 and 9, and to put your stuff there by 9 o'clock if you wanted your equipment set up. And so we went and did that, and then you have to leave the area, and you basically go and you sit in your car because it's so hot. And so we just went to the car until 11:30, and that's the second check-in, and that's when you go to that tent that he showed you with the blue star on the map. So
now it's a very particular situation because I mean, I don't usually report on a breaking news that involve us personally, but in this case, this is what went on where we were there yesterday. So we will have a more clear perspective, I think, than anybody else. The local authorities identified the man who was arrested with a loaded gun, and he was arrested and then bailed out for $5,000, which seems to be really a very weird kind of thing. Now, the Las Vegas resident was driving a black SUV.
They let him out?
For $5,000, yes. In fact, this is also really weird, but let me go into the news. Black SUV at a checkpoint outside the Trump rally in Coachella. We showed you this parking spot that led into both the check-in for the press and also for the VIP and the guests, as well as for the volunteers. They had basically their own car park. Authorities say the suspect was taken into custody without incident and booked at a detention center in nearby Indio, which is just around the corner. And the accident took place at 5 p.m. when Trump's rally was scheduled, when his presence was scheduled to begin. I mean, the rally started at 3 p.m. And I think you can pass me the phone there. I have a whole list of people who, of course, were present before Trump arrived. There was, of course, the opening with Jessica Milan. There was Representative Ken Calvert, who is a local Republican. Then we had even Matt Gaetz, who was a real guy. There was Dennis Quaid. And in the end, at 5 o'clock, we were all expecting Trump, but he didn't come out immediately. He made us wait. And
it was very, very, very hot.
So let me show you, though, because me and Christy, we had, unfortunately, a problem broadcasting yesterday. And we apologize for that. But the problem wasn't us. I mean, at 5 o'clock, all this shit went down, and they just did a blackout on everything.
Even the telephone. You couldn't use your phone.
Because at that point, there was actually an active investigation in an attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Now, this is a guy who has appeared within feet of Donald Trump Jr., his son at the RNC. He seems to be he has already attempted to forge passes like this in the past. And this is what happened when he forged another fake press pass and went within feet of Donald Trump Jr. at the RNC.
Is that everything at this convention, at the Republican National Convention, is cashless. This whole place is cashless. So, I don't know. See, that's the Republican National Convention behind me. Wonderful people, wonderful time. Just not happy that it's all cashless.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
This is a video he self-filmed. See how close he went to Trump Jr.
I don't have.
And watch all the photos that he has with all the heads of the Republican Party. I mean, this is incredible, guys. This is a security breach like no other. I mean, he was able, even with RFK, to make this pick. This is really another case of Manchurian Candidate, and it's a weird synchronicity that this happened when I was actually present and invited by Donald J. Trump. And the incredible thing is that we arrived there, early in the morning, and Christy can tell you what happened, because we went to these people, because we told you that before you have the entrance with, of course, all the security checks, the police inspection, and everything. There was, of course, early in the morning, the possibility of leaving stuff that will be left in the hands of the Secret Service that will do all the various. But at the same time, we went back into this car park, and like I said, there was the press, this kind of tent, and all the various journalists were queuing, and me and Christy were queuing, and so
you were the first ones, because I'm always like, let's go. So
we had a guy from Reuters in front of us.
But your friend?
We had.
I'm sure he's watching right now.
We had various journalists and people who were already there, but in any case, we arrived very early because we knew that there was a lot of security, and rightly so, because I mean, we could have assisted to another attempted assassination, or maybe even an assassination, if the famous sheriff of Riverside County didn't really send all these men. And you saw, Christy, all these cars and also motorcycles that constantly patrolled the scene. Like I said, we were made to live in this car park designated for the VIPs and for the press and for the volunteers. We were meant to leave everything there inside and then go into the car, and they will conduct the security swap, which they did very thoroughly with dogs and stuff on each car. So it was a completely different scenario from what you saw in Butler, Pennsylvania, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely a very different scenario. But let me show you what the sheriff, I think this guy is really responsible for saving the life of Donald J. Trump at this time, because he has done an excellent job. I mean, I could see it yesterday. There were even more members of the local sheriff police forces than of the Secret Service. I mean, it was like, but here we go with one of the best sheriffs we have in the United States of America. For him, well, an applause from all of us.
He was great.
He was great.
He was really great. You can't say anything about that.
I seem to have some problems in the audio, but I think that is maybe our own problem, or is it that you can't hear it?
About the arrest,
Okay.
and so I am here to give you as much information as I can. I will answer all of the questions that you have. Keep in mind that the information that I'm going to give you may not be all of the information that I have, but because of what we're doing and because of the investigation that will obviously continue concerning this, there are some things that I cannot give you, or that I will not give you, but I will do everything I can to answer your questions. So to begin with, yesterday afternoon, before former President Trump arrived to the rally, we made contact with an individual on the inner perimeter of our operation at the rally. As you can imagine, this was a very large event. In regard to previous attempts on the former president's life, this was not something that we were taking lightly. We had a very detailed plan in place on how we were going to keep not only the former president safe, but all of the participants or the attendees of the rally safe. So in general terms, I will tell you that we had a larger outside perimeter and then an inside perimeter that was completely controlled by us, by Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, and both of them served different purposes. We did not keep residents from their homes. We did not keep people that were traveling through the area from going through if they had a legitimate reason to go through. So the outside perimeter was basically to allow people in that we thought belonged there. The inside perimeter was to make sure people were proceeding in the right direction. The way it worked yesterday is only people that were allowed inside the perimeter, the outside perimeter, in a vehicle was if you lived there, or if you had documentation that said you were going to this rally in the form of an email with VIP credentials or press credentials. Those vehicles were allowed in. There were no other vehicles allowed. So that outside perimeter are I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later.
So from what he's explaining, I mean, the guy arrived with the black SUV and everything, but it seems like they stopped him even at the outside perimeter of that parking lot. He didn't even go in. So from what he's explaining here, let me show you guys once again the map of this place.
I have a really big question.
Yes,
Okay, so you said that they bailed him out,
yes.
but it's the weekend, and everybody knows that if something happens on the weekend, you have to stay till
We are
Monday.
in California. I don't know the local laws, and sincerely, I'm
But
not
if they-
surprised about what the Governor Newsom can produce in this state, which is in the hands of Satan. Please, let's focus on the thing. As you can see, you enter the event from Jackson Street. So was he stopped here or was he stopped here? Because as you know, there was a VIP little thing here. There was another press thing over here. So if they stopped him outside the perimeter, they will have stopped him going in from Jackson Street. If not, he must have managed to forge his way in, because I mean, it's not that complicated to get this kind of thing printed out. However,
It was hard to get in there, though.
it would have been very hard also if you don't respect the times that they were given to us.
Yeah.
Because like the sheriff said, they gave us an email and they gave us instructions, and I can show you here, I still have them. And so, I mean, they were very thorough about this whole thing. There was there was very clear instructions, both for the media logistics and also for the guests, the simple guests that were going to that event. No, let's see if I have it opens here. Seems like a little bit. It's not that good that open. Let me see. Yeah, and gentlemen.
I can do it, Maureen.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes, the media credential and logistics, if you find them in the thing. Okay, so this was the place, just to give you an idea, the map, and let's continue to listen to our great sheriff,
here,
Chad
Maria.
Bianco. No. Here it is. This is the media logistics of the event. And it says planning purposes only, and of course you were given can you please reopen it again, and here we have once again the sheriff, Chad Bianco.
Yes.
But we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birth date is 10/26 of 1974. And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and to and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more...
So you see, he was allowed inside. It means he was allowed inside the parking lot where we parked our car, in that perimeter.
But all they really looked at when we went in was the parking pass.
Yes. So he must have in some way, because let's listen to this passage. It seems very important. Yeah.
Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birth date is 10/26 of 1974. And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and to and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in, there were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed that the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had an obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from our deputy into why the person was there and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens, and assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found, in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun. Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case in the future. Right now, we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI to ensure that this person is followed up on and all of the information that they can gather. I can tell you that from my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency's perspective, the firearms charges is what we arrested him for and booked him on. Anything further will come from the federal government, and quite frankly, I don't know if we will be a part of that. We will certainly be a part of that investigation and cooperating with them, but those charges, if any, will come from them. They will not come from us. With that being said, is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Sheriff, we talked to Mr. Miller this afternoon, and he said the accusations or the belief that he planned to assassinate President Trump were, quote, complete bullshit. He said that he had a special access pass that was issued to him by a Republican group in Clark County, Nevada, and that when he rolled up to the checkpoint, he told the deputies that, in his words, as a courtesy, that he had firearms in the trunk of his.
The press doesn't seem to have mic'd themselves, so we can't really listen to the answer.
will not comment on
We
what
are
he said.
listening, of course, to the question, but we can listen to the answer of Sheriff Scialbianco, which is describing the situation surrounding this alleged assassination attempt. Now, like I said, it's a very recent event that we are analyzing, though, with unprecedented access, because we were actually there. And I can show you also the details that were actually, you can read the instructions that were given to us, Christy.
Okay, so these are the special instruction.
Yes.
So it just says this: please be mindful of the weather. We will be outdoors without shade.
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen will be permitted through metal detectors. We will provide a limited number of water bottles, and convenient refillable water stations will be available throughout the site.
Now, I must say one thing. Trump offered 75,000 free water bottles and ice to all the people present, plus filled us up with loads of more bottles that we ever needed. So there was, of course, a necessity, because it became so hot, guys. Amazing. I mean, I live here in Palm Springs all year round with my wife, but we were subject to some brutal.
Look at him. He has, go to the side. I didn't think he tanned. He has a farmer's tan.
Farmer's tan.
He has white lines. Look.
White lines. You might be saying like Millie Mill. Who was it? White lines going through your brain.
Well,
okay.
So I'm reading the media schedule.
Yeah.
Rideshare like Uber and Lyft will not be permitted access to the site.
Okay.
You will be turned away if arriving in them. Media schedule, Saturday, October 12, 2024, 7 a.m., media parking lot opens. 8 through 9 a.m., media preset. Media parking is available at, and then it gives the address, and the diagram is at the bottom of the document for further guidance. Once parked, please proceed to the press entry point located in the diagram, where you will be directed to parking. Once parked, proceed through mags. You will be then directed to the location preset. Satellite and microwave trucks are not permitted to cable on site. Photo identification and network credentials are required for entry. Riser space is first come, first served, and not guaranteed.
So this guy arrived, first of all, late from what the sheriff is explaining. Second of all, but he still managed to get into the perimeter and park his black SUV before going into the entrance, where, of course, at that point there was a metal detector and where he was eventually arrested. I mean, this seems to be what happened. Let's go back to Sheriff Ciabianco.
That we learned or gained from our contact with him, quite frankly, I'm not really concerned with the statement that he gave the media after he was released from custody. I can tell.
You see, he was released from custody, and this is the incredible thing about California. You can attempt to kill President Donald J. Trump, and you can actually the day after tranquilly get out because.
But then all these J6ers are still in jail, so that doesn't make any sense.
It's insane.
They're upside down and backwards.
Completely insane.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there were a minimum of 25,000 people that entered past those deputies into that location that had legitimate identification and weren't carrying guns. So I will just go from there. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've been quoted as saying we probably stopped another assassination attempt in the press enterprise. And then obviously you just gave us all of that information. I'm just curious how, what about what happened led you to that conclusion and that statement, given what you just explained about what you saw in the car and everything?
Yeah, so basically, I honestly, I will be honest with you, I don't remember saying that, but it certainly would be something I did say because it's something that in the last 12 hours we've talked about extensively of what happened. Thank God, and by an act of really what we did in the week leading up to keeping that place secure, I certainly wouldn't want to be saying after the fact that I wish we would have done something to prevent that shooting. And there is absolutely no way that any of us are going to truly know what was in his head. I can tell you that none of the other probably 50,000 people that showed up yesterday for that event brought multiple passports with different names and guns. And
now going back
if there is any further,
now going back to the multiple passports and guns and stuff, I mean, this is really weird because with the prior assassination attempt, the second assassination attempt, which I've discussed in detail on leozagami.com, this guy, this Root, whatever his name is, who went there on the golf course of Mar-a-Lago, well, he also had all these phones. And then we have Thomas Crooks, who had these foreign apps, which Trump, and I've actually discussed this. Volume 11, guys, is now a very important book. I mean, the fact that we arrived there early in the morning, we got there, and of course, they asked our media credentials. And Christy, what did you say?
I said the Leo Zagami show.
Well, they went through the papers and they were like, the Leo Zagami show. There was like NBC, ABC, Fox, Newsmax, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't find the Leo Zagami show. So at that point, though,
I thought we were going to get kicked out then.
Okay, so the lady who was in charge there of this little press kind of welcome place, she called the chief in charge of the press for the Trump campaign. And that really surprised us, guys, because what did they say?
They were expecting us.
They were expecting us. And on top of that, when I got in with my modest equipment in the backstage, the guy came to me and said, "You are Leo." I Said, welcome. And he started to say, oh, if you need water, then we will bring you food
Yeah,
later
you
on.
got some
And-
VIP treatment.
and then
I
the-
couldn't
the
figure
other-
out why.
The other journalists started to get a bit jealous about this VIP
And they
treatment.
started asking us who we were.
Like LA Times, there was these people from
They were nasty. Let me tell you.
but
The lady from the LA Times was not
but
bad at all.
NBC were pretty,
NBC, Newsmax,
guys
asshole.
now in volume 10 I
Oh,
told you
not all of them. That one
No.
guy was nice. The one guy with the blue jacket that reported, he was nice.
he was nice. But regarding Newsmax, like I said in volume 10, Qatar has given them 50 million. So I mean, if you want to know more about Newsmax, you should read volume 10 of my confessions, because they are a little bit ambiguous. But it was really strange to see the guy from Newsmax so chitty chatty and close with the guys from CBS and ABC
And they wouldn't even look at us.
okay, the guy from
They were
ABC,
rude.
the guy from NBC was pretty much like a bit of a bit fruity, but talking with the guy from Newsmax, so all suit.
They were the best dressed.
They were the best dressed of the guys from Newsmax. But guys, I mean, with that kind of heat, even your Leo Zagami wasn't in the best.
I didn't have anything to wear. I just threw something on, and I was safety pinning my pants because I had a hole in them.
Now, let me go into the news, because you all know what Obama has said about the black vote. And today, of course, we will be doing a little bit of news, but our news will be relating, of course, also to the interviews that we did during yesterday's event, unprecedented in Coachella. They managed to gather 100,000 people, guys, 100,000 people, really unprecedented, especially in Coachella, where most of the voters are Democrats here.
No, and when we came home, we got home late that night because it ran pretty late, and so we watched NBC because he always wants to watch The Enemy, and they said that there was hundreds there, and that was such a lie. So that was the first lie I heard.
You know, it's the fake news is fake news. I mean, guys, let me tell you, we will show you some incredible images, of course, in part 2 of this show that will be only on X and Rumble. But this is what happened, of course, as you know, with the former President Barack Obama talking about the vote of the brothers the other day. No?
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak.
The brothers, but the brothers don't seem to like Obama. They like Donald J. Trump these days, guys. And we have here a candidate for assembly who was giving us a brilliant interview as soon as we arrived there. And he's a great guy, I must say. Of course, he's an African American, a member of the Republican Party, of the GOP here in California.
He greeted us there. He was the first one, right?
He was the first one to greet us there, and he was definitely a very cool guy. I think that this interview will give you an idea of where the black vote is really going. In the morning, who we have here?
Ron Edwards, candidate for Assembly District 60, that's in Riverside County.
Great. Well, what do you think about Southern California and especially the black vote in this moment?
Yeah, the black vote is going to change things in California. It's very exciting times that we're living in because everything's on the table. They can't trump us. I'm gonna say that word. They can't trump us. The Democrats, the socialists, communists, Marxists, they can't trump us because we're doing some great things. The black vote is coming over, especially men, but conservatives. We're conservative at nature. So I tell people, I'm talking about my people, that's black Christians. There's 90 million Christians in this nation. 40 million Christians do not vote. And then 15 million out of that 90 million aren't even registered to vote. So that's good news for us because we have opportunity. So those are votes that's coming to us. And in Riverside County and in the whole state of California, there's more people registering as Republican than Democrat now.
Now, Obama has been pushing in the last couple of days a lot this card of the brothers need to vote for Kamala. What's your take on that? It was a pretty, I mean, even racist.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yes. Well, I think brothers can think for themselves. You know, it's just men. It's just men. And the amazing thing about that whole interview and everything, I didn't see the whole interview, but just hearing what was going on, it's not just black men, but the numbers are across the board. So I don't care if you're talking about black men, you talk about Latino men, you talk about all nationalities. See, they always want to bring it to race. This is the problem with the Democrat Party. The identity politics is what's going to be their Achilles heel. So I tell people all the time, I'm not a black American, I'm not a white American, I'm not a Latino American.
Simply an American.
I'm just a patriotic American. And that's what America is all about. America is the land of the free. We're white, we're black, we're Asian, we're Chinese, we're all national, we're all, they used to always talk about the melting pot. We're one. Okay? And like where I come from in down south in Texas, we have something called a gumbo. Now a gumbo,
I've been in Texas. I've been in Texas a few times.
Just like Louisiana, we make a gumbo. And so we throw everything up in that gumbo, man. We stir that pot, we get that roux going, and it's a lot of things that's mixed together, but we're all what? We're all one. Unity.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you. Your name again?
Ron Edwards.
Pleasure meeting you, Red. Good luck with all your future
you,
politics. And
Yeah.
then it's not an easy job. Absolutely. I have some experience of it back in Italy. Well, a great guy who definitely gave us a testimony of where the black vote is really going. Now, we are about to offer you some exclusive images of what happened during the third assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump. We also have some more light moments. And so I would probably like to close this first part of the show with a light moment. We interviewed, ladies and gentlemen, the DJ, yes, the DJ who plays the YMCA track and all the great tracks that we see with Donald J. Trump being played every time at his events. And we will be also doing the closing with him and YMCA dancing around. But probably we should keep that for the second part of the show to limit any problems that might arise from the copyright of music tracks that are played. You know,
you have to write it down.
Otherwise you have to write it down. But in any case, let me show you the actual, because there was, like I said, a lot of things that happened, and they were all positive. But there was, of course, this ominous feeling that
From 5 on, though.
But even before 5, there was a lot of security, and there was this drone, this new thing that the Secret Service has, and it's not a normal kind of drone. It's a drone attached to a string. Now, you can't really see the string on the image, but you can see the drone that was basically attached 50 meters from where Trump was talking, and it was there for the whole of the rally. We had this drone that was just flying on top, but it is attached. You can see the string. You can actually see the string.
Yeah, I see.
Now, thanks to this string, they avoid the drone probably flying away with some wind or detouring, and so they can keep it stable. But that drone could have actually saved the life of Co-Imperatore on the 13th of July, because they didn't use drones. The Secret Service started to use drones only after the 13th of July. And you can see how close it is, of course, to the stage. This is the first image, I think, that is being published of the new Secret Service drone operating at Trump rallies. For part 2, guys, you will be, of course, asked to move to X and Rumble, where we have a little bit more freedom. Okay, so please join us for part 2 of this excellent show, exclusive show on an event which is historic, because 100,000 people here in Southern California has been a great surprise for everybody.
Yeah,
So,
even we were surprised.
we were surprised, and actually at the beginning I thought it was only 20,000-30,000, because that's what they told me. The organizers told me that. But then I realized that not only, there was a whole other bunch of people behind us that we didn't see, because they were all behind.
Yeah,
and
we were kind of like in this
and
area.
even Trump said it. I can't even see.
We couldn't see. They were all behind.
No, we couldn't even see where it ended. This immense group of people. Fortunately, everything went well, and I think really we own a lot to this great sheriff. This guy is number one.
Whether or not he belonged there, the statement of him saying that he was given credentials to be there by someone else, that's not up to me to decide. I mean, we didn't arrest him for going inside the facility. We arrested him for having illegal guns in his car. What his frame of mind was, all we can do is speculate, unless we truly just want to believe anything that he tells us.
Incredible, guys. Part 2, after, of course, the usual break with the sound of Vincenzo Viceversa. Please support us, guys. Support us through your donations, because if you donate, we will offer you more of these shows also during the week, and we might even go on the road. But of course, if we have to go on the road, guys, for these kind of events, we need more sophisticated equipment. I mean, I think that the advice that some Italians gave me when I was actually capable in the early hours of doing a live show with the Italians, but then it started to break up, was to get a Tesla Starlink. And actually I saw it immediately after that suggestion. I saw that next to the DJ booth of Trump's DJ booth, there was a Starlink placed there. So for those who are watching us on Rumble, you can stay on Rumble. For those who are watching us on X, you can stay, of course, on X. We will no longer be able to broadcast the next 50 minutes on YouTube and Facebook, mainly because we will also be talking about things that, as you know, there's always some censorship, unfortunately. But please share if you are on X, if you are amongst the 100 people who at the moment are following us on X. Remember, we're going to be showing exclusive images never shown before of the Trump rally, and you will enjoy them, guys, because there's a lot of things that went on in the backstage of this Trump rally. So let me, of course, move on with the classic interlude, and I see you for part 2 of this show with Leo and Christy. Christy, by the way, Christy, I think that we should also remind people that we need their donations.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank the sponsors for this week: Bruce Kodish and Margarizada Minta, Daniel Estes, and David R. Kemmerer. Thank you guys so much, and also everybody who bought the book, because we had a lot of book sales at the beginning of the week. So thank you very much. They kind of lagged off and then disappeared, but I mean, we had nice.
Guys, now
nice
that
sales.
you know that even Donald J. Trump knows about this book and has personally invited us to this event, he actually wanted my signed copy. I was honored by the way that we were treated, guys. I mean,
was so nice. I felt important.
Well, we are important.
Well, they never make us. They only made me feel important at the immigration office.
Yes.
They made me feel important. And this time, I did not feel important at some places I went to in the summer of July 2019.
No,
But
no,
That time,
no comment. No comment. See you for part 2 on X and Rambo.
In the negative utopia, science, technology, social organization, dehumanization,